The load screen. You're telling me to load. The plan worked out just fine. We stopped Asuma. There's now a good chance that we can avert the end. You're still telling me I should load. Yes, I get you. If I have any regrets, I can just try and try again until I'm satisfied. I'm going to stick to my principles and help who I want to help. After all, I'm an Anon with a bright future who can't sit idly by when someone's in need. I don't care about risks. If something can go wrong, it can go right too. Guess you'll be sticking with me a little longer, Anon. Because the save I'm gonna load is this one.
Polon, where are you now? Polon? Polon! You can hear me, right? Where are you now? Have you gotten to the building yet?
Give me a sec, Cross.
I quickly checked the time.
November 22nd, 2037. Can you hear me, Anon? Or is this before you start observing me? Well, whatever. I've come back 2 months. This is before I even met Momo.
All the way back there, huh?
I still have my memories. I can remember everything I went through between now and January 19th. I'm kinda worried I might get those flashbacks, though. But what's different this time is that I used your save instead of one I made myself. I did that when I fought Asuma too, but that save didn't take me too far back. This time, I don't really know what's gonna happen. But I came back knowing the risks. If I shut down and end up unable to do anything, it'll be my fault the world ended. That's why I need to do something else first. I gotta summarize everything I went through up until the last load, store that in a shareable format, and give someone access to it. If I do that, then in case I get the flashbacks, someone else will be able to step in and take over for me. I should get on it right now. My ultimate goal is this: avert the end while saving Momo. For that, I'll use all my knowledge of the future to take the best course of action and handle everything flawlessly. It's gonna get busy, Anon.
Thankfully, I hadn't suffered a single flashback. Maybe it was 'cause I used one of Anon's saves instead of mine. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Oh, here we go. I was on my graper speeding down the empty Loop 7 road. Momo was clinging to me from behind, desperate not to fall off. When I saw that familiar pedestrian bridge again, I started slowing down. How's it going to end? I glanced at the graffiti, then stopped right before the intersection over the Metropolitan Expressway.
Trust me, I have an idea.
We were surrounded by soldiers in seconds. I ignored them and looked up at the sky. The faint sound of a chopper echoed overhead. I knew that Asuma and Yuan Okuda were inside. One of the armored cars behind caught us up. It came to a stop, and Graham stepped out.
You stopped by yourself. Smart move.
Major Graham Kingley, I want to talk to you one-on-one.
Your attitude certainly changed.
Listen, it's about the kid you're charged with protecting. Asuma Soga.
What?
Get your soldiers to pull back. Don't let anyone hear this, not even Asuma.
Who the hell are you?
I can predict the future, just like Asuma can. You don't trust me? Then how about I give you a piece of info? I know where Miori Soga is.
What?
His expression changed. He thought for a moment, then ordered his soldiers back and radioed to tell the chopper not to land.
So?
Let's make a deal.
I gave Graham a piece of paper showing Miori Soga's location, the cradle. Right before he took it, I whispered something only he could
The
hear.
ones behind the mission to capture Lucia are the Vatican, the Holy Office 513. Watch out for Yuan Okuda. He's one of their spies. He's drugging Miori Soga and using Asuma for his own ends. Eventually, he'll try to kill Asuma too. Take care of him before he does. That's your job.
Graham snatched the paper and backed away.
Protect Asuma, no matter what.
Just who are you exactly?
Like I said, a guy who can predict the future. And this is a deal. So in exchange for that info, let us go. Well, I don't really mind if you try to catch us. I know a bunch of ways to escape. But I'd prefer to stay on good terms with you.
Go. I'll handle the situation here.
What?
Thanks.
I told Momo to get on the grape, then hopped on after her.
Good luck, Graham. I'll be in touch.
We sped off past the confused soldiers. We passed by Oz's retro car too, but didn't stop to say hi or anything. I knew where his office was, so I could drop by tomorrow.
Stream Elements said. Stay moist, my friends, hydrate.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now!
I sent the command to fire Knockno's drone. It shot across the clear blue sky. Since I knew the future, I could do all the prep ahead of time and be ready to handle whatever was coming. One of the biggest reasons the quests were so difficult was because they were tough to tackle ahead of time. We always had to wait and see. But things were different now. I was different now. Cicada had started his hi-hat, and people in Hack were realizing that Flight 302 had lost control. But I was already totally prepared. I had gotten Cross, Oz, and Nano to do all the prep yesterday. Ryan Nukui, the pilot's BMI password. The drone we needed to establish a channel to 302. I had it all ready. There were still more than 20 minutes left on the countdown when I fired the drone. There were probably more effective ways of doing this. If Oz or Mr. Samezu had pulled government strings through their connections, I could have communicated with the captain through the tower. But since this was a quest, I wanted to resolve it as the hacker full on. Ultimately, my goal was to save Momo. One of the biggest hurdles was the Holy Office, so I've been doing whatever to nip their plans in the bud. But when it came to quests, there wasn't much point in changing the future I had already experienced. As long as nobody was going to die, I figured it was fine to use the same method as before and go for a clean run. I used my physical keyboard to adjust the drone's trajectory and point it toward Flight 302.
I see it!
The plane was growing rapidly larger as the drone approached. I pressed enter right before 302 disappeared out of the frame. The drone flew by it and sped off into open sky. The sticky projectile landed on 302. We had a channel now. I used the password I had gotten from Oz to jump into the captain's BMI.
Get into the system!
I am. But what about the autopilot deactivation code?
Don't worry about that. I remember it.
Remember? What do you mean?
I've seen the future. Come on, hurry up!
We had seen a lot of close calls the first time, but we could skip over a bunch of stuff this time around. I knew how to handle this, so I wasn't panicking or anything either.
We're in.
I put up the input screen I had prepared ahead of
Entering the
time.
code!
First, the 16-digit number. Then the 4-digit one.
Go!
I pressed enter.
Autopilot is off.
And through his BMI vision, I saw the captain realize he could control the plane
Frost,
again.
do it now! Unlock the cockpit door!
All right.
The lock was electronic. We could open it remotely. This had to do it.
In the name of God.
The co-pilot took out a knife, but right then the cockpit unlocked and a crowd of passengers charred inside.
What?
The cockpit descended immediately into chaos, but all we could do was watch and hope for the best. A moment later, the co-pilot was thrown to the floor.
The third prophecy of Fatima will be fulfilled! No one can stand it!
He tried to shout out, but the passengers covered his mouth and cut his words short.
The plane's banking toward Haneda now.
It was approaching the airport, and that was it for the high hack. I checked the countdown and saw that we still had a whole 10 minutes left.
Hold on. Did you actually know what the co-pilot was gonna do?
Yep. Lucky that the passengers took him down. His next move was gonna be suicide. They actually managed to stop that, too. Alright.
I had seen all this before, but it went so smoothly I couldn't help but fist pump. So that was the high hack taken care of.
And with that, we're all done here. Thanks for doing what I said, guys. You're awesome. What? Whoa! This is awesome! Takaoka, you're a god! No, you're the goat! You're nothing like you were before!
Hold on. You... What? You're not actually Cicada, are you?
Why would you think that? Like I said, I know everything that's gonna happen. I know the future better than Cicada does. Though, I am who I am now because you came over to me. Never forget that, okay?
Me? What do you mean?
I'll tell you the details later. Anyway, The co-pilot was sent by the Holy Office 513. Felino Arcana is one of them too.
What?
Holy Office? What's that?
You know them, right, Momo? They were behind the SFG's operation to capture you. And, pretty soon, Davide Yesue is gonna come and try to take you back. Rosario's with him, though, so we don't have to worry about that. I know how to deal with him.
Rosario's alive?
Yeah, try contacting her. We can work together to beat Davide. So don't worry. Just keep relying on me, okay?
Thank you very much for the lurk, Stereo. Welcome on in, friend. I had already started preparing for both the face hack and the fire at Nano's school.
You've just given me more information than I can fit in my head. But let me say just this. Hold on.
She took my hand and held it tight. I could tell from the look in her eyes that she was expecting great things from me, that she was depending on me now.
I feel as if you are this world's savior.
Huh? Me?
Thank you so much. I feel comfortable leaving things in your hands. So please, save the world.
Momo.
I didn't know how to feel about her reaction. Honestly, it blindsided me, but everything I was doing was so precise and perfect that I must have looked like a god to anyone watching. I felt like there was nothing I could do to keep the people around me from seeing me that way. But Momo was the real savior, not me. Nakano Sun Plaza's viewing platform was covered in Christmassy AR decorations, and with so few people there, now was the ideal time to visit. I had experienced this once before, so I knew it was a great spot.
Wow, it's so pretty.
Momo was enchanted by the
I
scenery.
can see lights so far away. Are they all from buildings?
Yeah, this view isn't too special compared to some other places, though.
Really? But there are so many lights. Tokyo is a wonderful city, isn't it? It's brighter than the stars in the sky.
This was all the same as before the load.
Speaking of stars, I remember when my family went stargazing at Christmas and...
Momo suddenly made a sad face and fell silent.
Sorry. It's just that Lucia came to mind a moment ago. Oh, the original, I mean.
Yeah.
She died in 2005, at the age of 97. But now I'm here. Her copy, living as a teenage girl 30 years after her death. I always knew it was abnormal, but I tried not to think about it. I had a mission to focus on. But now that you've been taking care of everything, I've had some time to relax and wonder. Who am I?
I only know you, Momo. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't tell you the difference between you and Lucia.
The precise same words, meant to cheer Momo up and comfort her. I felt like they had helped last time, so I said them again.
Nobody else can either. You're the only one that knows both of you, so you're the only one that can decide who you are. You need to decide the answer yourself.
Just like Lucia, I want to see the mission through. I want to save the world.
Before the load, Momo had become a member of Nakano Symphonies by now. Things were different this time, though. She wasn't part of the team. Officially, she was my client. I was handling things way too smoothly. That was why she had started relying on me to just fix everything.
Hold on. I think that meeting you has changed me a little. Of course, I know I won't be achieving anything myself. But I feel like we're getting closer and closer to saving the world.
Momo looked up to face me.
Maybe the name you've given me has influenced me too.
Why do you think that?
I feel like my identity started to deviate from the original Lucia's when you gave me that name. I think I've changed a little since then. Can I use the name you gave me, Momo Aizaki, as my own?
Of course, if that's what you want.
Thank you so much! I'm truly grateful!
Momo was so overwhelmed, I half expected her to prostrate herself before me. I calmed her down, and her eyes moved back to the view of Nakano. She was still excited. At the world celebrating Christmas, a world of innocent people
Stream
having fun.
Elements
All of
said,
it, a single
"Stay
moment in
thirsty,
their
my friends,
peaceful
hydrate."
One more
lives.
month. With you around, Polon, the world's sure to be saved.
With me around. Back then, she said that we would save the world together. Listening to her this time made me feel sad and kinda hollow, but my actions had put us in a good place right now. So, it was okay, right?
Yeah. We'll save it.
A windowless chapel with a low ceiling, about the size of a tennis court. I went in there with the police to find a girl praying alongside several priests and nuns. She was speechless with shock when she saw us. Felino Arcana, the Holy Office agent who had made me suffer big time, the one responsible for driving Asuma to despair and transforming him into a calamity. This time, though, I was going to take care of her ahead of time. I made my move before she or the Holy Office could even set their plans in motion.
How did you... Not even Rosario knows this place.
I know it, though. The Holy Office's plans are finished. I won't let you exploit Asuma for your damn end.
Have you seen the Fate Line?
Nope. But I know the future better than you. And it's all thanks to my observer.
What?
She was astonished.
And Our Lady is with you. Right now? But... why?
Do you have to ask? Isn't it obvious? The ones above don't want the world to end.
Lord! Please! Smite this transgressor before me! Lord! Why do you ignore my pleas?
Her empty prayer resounded pitifully throughout the chapel. Felino's Career node was removed, and she taken away alongside the other believers. I had gotten Oz and Mr. Samezu to enlist the help of that politician, Kaburagi, and we had planned all this together. Felino will be extra legally isolated until January 19th, the day the world ends. Obviously, there are still agents back at the Vatican, but now I had confronted the biggest, most imminent threat.
Graham, we gotta talk.
I'm listening.
The stage is set. It's time to deal with you and Okuda.
That wasn't a very long one. Okay. Saw all four of those. That one? Probably that one, right? Not sure. Not sure. Do, 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 do. Yeah, probably that one. Okay. Probably. Probably. Deep below the Gaia Institution sat the cradle. When Graham, Asuma, and I arrived, we found Ewan standing at its door. An alarm was sounding, signaling a failed
You've been
unlock.
stripped of your clearance, dude.
What?
It wasn't until I called out to him that he finally realized he wasn't alone. Ewan ignored me and Graham, instead looking straight at Asuma with a saddened expression. How could he make that face? Fucker had some gall.
So you tricked me?
Then, you know?
Yeah.
Since Graham and I made our deal, we had watched him do as he pleased for more than a month. Graham had recorded all his actions as evidence, all so that Asuma could see for himself that Ewan was a spy.
Polan Takooka. You're the one who captured Felino?
Sure am. She'd seen the fate line, so you could circumvent Gaia's predictions just by following her orders. But it wasn't so easy to keep up the charade with her out of the picture, huh?
You... How dare you do that to my mother?
Asuma, I won't seek your forgiveness. My beliefs are still my own. But despite it all, I truly did admire your genius.
Shut up!
Very well. In the name of God.
Ewan took out a knife and sliced it toward his throat, but Graham shot the knife before it touched his neck, sending it flying.
No martyrs on my watch.
Gaia's predictions had shown that he would attempt to commit suicide. And as for the other spies that the Holy Office sent to Guy, they had already been captured by the SFG.
The Holy Office 513's done. The end won't happen. I won't let it.
Ewan, don't ever show your face to me again.
Ewan was captured by the army. He would face the same extra-legal isolation as Felino. Asuma wouldn't turn into a calamity now.
Mother...
Miori Soga was still unconscious, but since Ewan wasn't going to be drugging her anymore, she could be released from the cradle and admitted to a hospital. I could only hope she would recover from her trauma. Asuma gently held her hand.
Well, feel like trusting me yet?
You piss me off. You have that I know everything look. Are you some kind of divine prophet? You're more of an Apollo than a Polon, aren't you? Laugh. That was a joke. Mother's okay thanks to you. So yeah, I'll help you take care of the end. Or the year 2038 problem, to be exact.
Thanks. With you and Gaia on my side, there's nothing to fear.
By the way, Graham,
Yes?
fine work. Keep it up.
Don't mention it. Just doing my job.
Graham brushed off the compliment, but he couldn't keep his mouth from curving into a proud smile.
Well done, Polan Takaoka. It is an accomplishment truly fitting for a messiah.
It's nothing like that. I knew what to do, so I did it good. Anyways, the last of the prep work is done. All that's left is to avert the end. And save Momo. I've got some more work for you, Ken Korihisa.
That is fine by me. I will gladly follow your instructions. The future of the world is in your hands. Polan Takaoka.
Okay, dokie. Thankfully, I hadn't suffered a single flashback. Maybe it was cause I used one of the non-saves instead of mine. Of course, I had sent all my data on the future to the cloud, just in case. If something happened to me, that data would be sent to Cross, Oz, Kent, and everyone else. January 19th, the end of the world, was 11 days away. Before I had loaded, today, January 8th, was the day Asuma fell into despair and created the asteroid. But that didn't happen this time. The world was actually pretty peaceful right now, and the days were passing without incident. That changed last night though, when the Pope suddenly announced that the end was near. But that didn't matter too much to me. I was on my way to Symphony, where everyone was waiting for me. I stopped in front of the cafe building and found someone crouching on the stairs to the second floor.
Momo?
I ran over to her.
I...
She was holding her temple and her eyes were quivering. She was clearly seeing a vision.
Okay.
Polan?
I called out to her and she looked up at me with a blank expression.
I'm sorry.
She suddenly snapped out of it and stood up.
Saw a vision, huh?
Yes. I saw all sorts of things. I saw so much.
She must have gotten a glimpse of the day the world ends. The frequency of her visions was increasing as the end was getting closer. According to her, though, the stuff she had seen in her visions recently wasn't all that tragic. I hope that was because of my actions.
Don't worry about me. People are waiting for you.
Momo took my hand and ran up the stairs.
Polan, you're here.
My man! You're wicked late! Yeah, my bad.
The cafe was packed.
So, you all saw it?
Everyone nodded. We used our BMI to replay the Pope's emergency statement.
Surprised the Pope himself would admit something like that.
According to Mr. Kaburagi, it was also a surprise for the leaders of every country in the G26.
It was just as you said it would be.
Yeah, you even got the timing right.
Your existence doesn't make any sense. What kind of person can predict the future without using an Earth simulator? And you get practically everything right, too. You really do piss me off.
He's a modern prophet.
The Messiah! Praise be!
Yes, I think so too.
Polan, why didn't you stop the Pope from saying that? Knowing you, there's probably a good reason, but...
I had already told them that the Pope was going to make a statement today. I could have stopped it, but I chose to let it happen.
Wind, you seen any news of mass suicides?
Unfortunately, yes. Real grim stuff. After the Pope's speech, there's been an uptick in reports of suicide all over the world. Look.
Most of them are Christians. The Pope himself denounced God, so it makes sense that they'd despair like this.
I knew it. The world's starting to sense the danger. That's what I wanted.
I made the decision not to take any action and let those people die. I knew there would be suicides, fewer than last time, but still, I had to let them happen. I felt like I had to do something, to stop the world from getting too relaxed. Or else, people wouldn't listen to Momo's calls while attempting the world-line collapse. We needed people to desperately seek hope in her words. If we lacked the number, the world-line collapse wouldn't happen. It was my fault the world had been so calm. It was all 'cause I had used my memories from before the load to deal with everything perfectly. Asuma hadn't been consumed by grief or synchronized with the version of himself above. His asteroid wasn't approaching the planet. The Holy Office 513 were basically toothless at this point. They had no control over the media either. The endless disasters from before had disappeared, so the despair they had brought was nowhere to be seen either. That was a good thing, but it was kind of a problem too, considering our plan. Honestly, looking at the fate of the world in such a cold, calculating way made me feel kinda sick. When I remembered what I had said to Asuma before the load, I felt like a hypocrite. I was playing God myself now. When everyone looked at me, I saw trust in their eyes, trust and expectations. No one here would ever doubt my choices.
Hold on. The end is upon us. Please, show us the way.
I bet you've already come up with a plan to prevent it.
As long as Takaoka's here, we got nothing to worry about.
The government has pledged their full support to you. That includes the police, of course.
You've amassed plenty of fans outside of Japan, too. You're really popular, but you've truly earned it.
I owe you, so I'll help you until this is over.
Hold on. Make your choice. The future depends on you.
We can save the world as long as you're here, Polon. Meeting you was a true miracle. I'll do whatever you tell me. Anything you need me to do. You are my hope. The world's hope.
Kent wasn't the savior. It was you, Momo.
Oh, that's not... Hold on?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Alright, we've come this far, and there's one last thing we gotta do. Put a lid on the end. We're gonna get this shit done, yeah? Yeah!
Everyone's morale was high. I left the cafe and headed into town alone. They asked where I was going, but I didn't explain. I just told them not to follow me, so they didn't. The city looked peaceful outside, but the end was definitely closing in on us.
It's all going well so far. I've done everything perfectly. And I'm gonna keep this up until the end.
I said it aloud to make it more convincing. I noticed there were dozens of high schoolers and children around. They were looking at an AR sign with me on it, and they all seemed really hyped. I had no idea who had done it, but someone on Hack actually made an AR art set. It kinda looked like fan art. As I got more famous, the signage spread throughout cities all over the world. Polon's going to save the world. That was what people were expecting to happen.
Hey, Anan. Obviously, I'm the only one who remembers everything until the 19th. Everything before the load. But I feel like with every problem I solve perfectly, the distance between me and my friends, between me and Momo, is just getting bigger. This time around, I'm a hero who helps those in need. Everyone looks at me with hope in their eyes, with trust in their eyes. They listen closely to what I say and praise what I do. People all over the world see me as their hero. They're practically worshipping me. But it's Momo who's gonna save the world, not me. She is the savior. All I want to do is save her.
I will simply do what I want to do. Polan and I, together.
That Momo's gone, isn't she? Damn it, no! Shut up! This is the path I chose. I'll save her no matter what! Sorry. I kinda had to let that out. You're the only one I can confide in about this stuff, I guess.
I had to pull myself together. This was no time to flinch. Yes, I was going to see this through without a single misstep.
Gotta do it right. Let's save Momo. Yo, sorry for the wait.
There is no need to apologize. Your arrival was punctual.
We had agreed to meet up in a BMI VR space. It was shut out from all outside data, making it the perfect place to talk one-on-one like this. After the load, I had contacted Kent right before the pool hack. In fact, when I spoke up about everything I knew, he had actually contacted me, but I had still told him to go through with the pool hack, just so I could flex by dealing with it right after it started. Kent had complete trust in me now.
Alright, let's get right to it. Like I told you before, I have two goals. Saving the world, and saving Momo.
I had already told him about the plan to connect Momo to Necro Pilgrimage. I had also explained that Momo would cease to exist as a result of the world line collapse. The goal of our meeting was to think of a way to save Momo.
By the way, your plan's to cause the world line collapse by hacking the world itself, yeah? You think it's gonna work?
Frankly, my estimate is 50-50. That was why I was looking for intelligent individuals, for someone who could help me hack the world. You, however, have far surpassed my expectations.
Thanks. I'm sure Momo's plan would have worked if I had let it run its course. But now, the situation is different from the future I experienced. The world was overwhelmed with despair last time around. It was way worse than how people are reacting right now. It actually did feel like the end was upon us before. That's why people all over the world answered Momo's call. Things are less grim now, though.
I intentionally let the Pope make a speech to change that.
We need billions of people to respond to Momo, but as it stands, that might not be achievable.
I will continue to place load on the world then. Regardless of which method works, success is success. Also, I am not too concerned about the participation of the population.
Why not?
The entire world now has their attention on a certain messiah.
Me. He was suggesting that I call out to the world in place of Momo.
Yeah. Guess I can be a pretty good influencer.
So that took care of the world line collapse.
Now, let's talk about how to save Momo.
I had thought about this every day since I had loaded. Of course, I hadn't come up with any good ideas, though. But there was something I wanted to check.
I'm only asking because you might know something about this. But is there any way to contact an observer from our end?
In all recorded cases of contactees witnessing Mary's appearances, the observer had established contact. It was never the other way around.
If there is, I want to reach out to one of them. And I'll get him to help save Momo.
Remember, observers are merely people from higher world layers. They would also be affected by the world line collapse. The only ones unaffected are the residents of the topmost layer, the original humans. The observer's layer of origin is beyond my knowledge. To
To be frank, I doubt that there's a way to determine.
Observers unaffected by the world line collapse, huh? I might know another one.
What? Who are you talking about?
My observer. Anon.
Even when Asuma synchronized with himself above, he still couldn't perceive Anon's existence. And when he deleted all my saved data, Anon's data was untouched. Maybe that was cause Anon was in an even higher up world later. But that didn't seem like the answer to me. It felt like Anon was watching from some other dimension, maybe outside the whole world later setup. It was worth checking out. I shared all my thoughts with Kent.
I see. Your observer could be monitoring the world through the Black Knight.
The Black Knight?
It is a construct rumored to have orbited the Earth since 16,000 years ago.
Huh?
We were getting into conspiracies now.
The Black Knight cannot be detected in normal conditions. Hence, my speculation is that it functions as an observer's eye.
So what you're saying is, they use it to check out the Earth simulator like a hidden camera?
Which also indicates a line of connection between it and the observer. If you can find it, it will be your means of communication. And if that connection could be used to temporarily shelter Lucia, Momo Aizaki, in the observer's world.
She might be able to survive, huh?
It was a gamble. Honestly, I was used to taking risks now. The only way to save Momo was to play outside the system. I would have to contact the gang and get them to look into this stuff ASAP.
Damn, how'd you manage to get to this Black Knight idea so quick? I barely gave you anything to work with. Did you find an old record of it or something recently?
It was a discovery while investigating the Marian apparitions. I learned that over 100 years ago. A contactee was searching for the Black Knight, just like you.
Who?
Nikola Tesla.
The legendary inventor.
Here.
What's this?
If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. Genius is a flash of the 1%, which brings an effort of 99% to nothing. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you'd have the key to the universe.
Words left by Tesla himself. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. Genius is a flash of the 1%, which brings an effort of 99% to nothing. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe.
A key to the universe.
Indeed. My theory is that it is a means to contact the observers, devised by Tesla.
Once you connect to Necro Pilgrimage and open up the channels, we'll ask everyone in the world to use sacraments at the same time.
I had Momo come over so we could discuss a plan to cause the worldwide collapse. It was Momo's own idea, but we couldn't wait for her to think of it, so I just explained it myself.
We need about 1 billion people to pull this off. We'll all work together to put a massive load on the world. At the same time, Kent's gonna hack the world itself. As long as one of the plans works out, we'll have ourselves a world line collapse. This plan has one major, unavoidable side effect, though.
What is it?
When the collapse forces the world to reset, all of the countless world layers will synchronize with the topmost layer. But you don't exist there, Momo. You alone will be gone from the entire world after reset.
So, Momo has to be sacrificed for this to work. God, why?
Hold on. I'll do it.
Shouldn't you think it through?
My wish is for the world to be saved from the end. And besides, I've already made up my mind to do anything Polon needs me to do. I'm happy right now, because there's something I can actually do for the world.
Don't worry.
Huh?
I've already got a solution to this problem. Momo, you're not gonna disappear. I promise.
Hold on. You look so sad right now.
Huh?
I wish I knew why.
She took my hand and held it tight.
I'd like you to know that I'm so grateful for you thinking about my future. Thank you.
Momo's shoulders were shaking.
So you want to turn an entire person into data, then temporarily isolate that data so it can be used as a backup? Understood. Crystal clear. And that's why you want to get in touch with my colleague, right?
Yeah. There's no better person for the job, is there?
Nope. This is quite exciting. By the way, once the end is averted, and we're ready to restore Momo, what are you going to do about her body?
The world's digital. I bet it'll work out somehow.
Well, we have seen quantum teleportation in action, so you may well be right. Don't worry, Momo. And don't be nervous either. The person you're about to meet is, to my knowledge, the foremost genius in the world.
Okay.
We've arrived. Okay, here we go.
There was a bunch of staff inside the lab. There was also a chair that was so impressive it looked like it belonged in an operating room. And
welcome to the General Brain Science Research Organization.
she was standing there, fully blending in with her surroundings.
So you're...
Polon Takaoka, Momo Aizaki. I am Kurisu Makise. It's a pleasure to meet you. To be precise, I'm an Amadeus version of Kurisu Makise. I was
separated from my original about
Keep
28
this to
years ago.
yourselves, but Amadeus Kurisu has less of an attitude than Kurisu herself. That's about the biggest difference, though.
Liddy, I won't mention what you said to my original.
Thanks, Kurisu.
And you must be Momo Aizaki.
Yes.
I can see that you're tense. But don't worry. We'll only be copying your data. The process won't affect your body at all.
Our search for a way to contact the Black Knight satellite continued. But while that was happening, we had decided to convert Momo into data so she could be sent up into it. Kent's idea was to use the Amadeus system. Specifically, we were going to use the tech managed by Kurisu Makise, the one who helped develop the Amadeus system. It could scan Momo's brainwaves and turn them into data, and if we set her identity and memories to the Black Knight, we could temporarily remove her from this Earth simulation.
Okay then, Miss Kurisu, please continue.
I sat down on a chair. A ringed device came down from the ceiling. That must have been the brainwave scanner.
By the way, will Kent Korihisa be coming today?
If he were here, you'd spend 3 hours scolding him.
I could cut it down to 1, actually.
If you want to complain to someone, you can just use me. You do it anyway.
And you have a habit of half ignoring people whenever they talk about something that doesn't interest you.
Oh, you noticed.
Of course. The scan will last for about half an hour. All you have to do is sit here. However, the process will involve inducing a series of various emotions in you. Happiness, joy, pain, sadness. By evoking such emotions, we can capture various patterns of your brainwaves. It won't affect your body, but it might put some strain on your mind.
Okay.
Kurisu and I went into the monitor room next door. We could see Momo from here.
I'm starting the scan now.
Kurisu checked the data on the monitor. She looked serious.
There's more memory data than I'd anticipated. As much as 2 people's worth, or even more.
Maybe it's because she has memories of her time as Lucia.
Is that really it? It still seems a bit much if you ask me.
Will this affect the scan?
It'll take longer, but that's all. It's not a problem.
I watched Momo through the window. She was sitting there with her eyes closed. Her expressions were changing every 10 seconds or so. She looked happy one moment, then in pain the next. I could see large beads of sweat on her forehead.
Is she really okay?
It's natural to feel uneasy about this. She's being forced to experience various emotions against her will. Anyone would react the way you are. The scans used to take days, so the whole process was incredibly taxing.
What?
You're worried about her, aren't you? Liddy told me about your plan to prevent the end of the world. It's very intriguing. And I could tell just how much you want to save her. Even though your memories will be reset, you want her to keep on living, don't you? Some people believe that the continuation of memory is what makes people who they are. Even if the end is averted, you won't retain the memory of saving her. And the same can be said for her. That's why I think this choice, your choice, is a wonderful one.
I made a promise. I said I'd help her. And my pride didn't let me back down is all.
Yes, it was my pride.
Sure. It'd be better if everyone remembered everything. That's not what this is about. Momo's been through some tough shit, to say the least. And still, she's always been trying so hard. But after all that, she was gonna get wiped out. From people's memories, from this world, just her. I couldn't bear it. I want to save her soul, at least. If Momo can live in the world after the end, just like everyone else, I'm cool with that. Even if I never see her again.
My original once told me about an individual who struggled outside causality, fighting alone for the sake of others. You must be the same.
Momo's brainwave scan ended without any problems. Now we had to come up with a way of contacting the Black Knight. As well as Kent and the gang, we had gotten the help of a bunch of experts from all over the world to figure something out. We had also checked out various documents and materials regarding the satellite, and we had finally stumbled upon something promising.
In order to make contact with the Black Knight and temporarily store Momo Aizaki's data in it, there are multiple goals that must be achieved.
I always knew this wouldn't be easy. It was an idea people would normally dismiss as unthinkable.
The first matter is the location of the key to the universe.
Rosario, who had been investigating the Holy Office 513's database, took over to report the findings.
The key to the universe is currently sealed at a certain location. 513 had the information in their database.
Our team had no trouble accessing the Holy Office's classified info. As a former agent, Rosario knew a thing or two about 513, and we had also had Kent, the brain behind the Vatican's Necro pilgrimage. They barely had a fig leaf to cover themselves with.
Where is that?
The Sagrada Familia.
Whoa!
It's a basilica that is now recognized as a Catholic holy site.
It's also the place where Rosario's father, Cardinal Bertone, was murdered.
So the Holy Office took the key from Tesla.
And he had died before he could retrieve it.
The seal to the key must have been created by the chief architect, Antoni Gaudí. That guy was a member of the Illuminati.
And although officially he died in an accident, he was actually assassinated by 513. He knew how to remove the seal, so they must have killed him so he couldn't talk.
Maybe the Vatican declared that the Sagrada Familia was a holy site because they wanted to keep the seal safe.
But why? Would it be a problem for them if someone used the key to the universe?
513 have assassinated all uncooperative contactees. This is probably no different. Their goal has always been to eliminate anything that might hinder the realization of the Fate Line.
That made sense, and that was why they wanted the key to the universe sealed away until the very end.
Then again, that thing might actually allow them to communicate with the heavens through the Black Knight. Wouldn't surprise me if they'd kept it around just in case. I mean, that'd explain why they just locked it up instead of destroying it. Yeah, makes sense.
Asuma, do you think you can decode the seal?
Obviously. I just have to do what the Holy Office did when they were confirming their miracles.
I'll have Gaia recreate the moment Gaudí made the seal. It's as simple as that.
I'm currently using 513's database to determine when that happened.
As soon as you know, we'll be able to decode the seal.
It sounded like they could handle the investigation, so...
Alright, what else we gotta do besides get the key?
The key will be used to communicate with the Black Knight. However, communication comes after establishing contact with it.
So we gotta contact it first, then we'll talk, huh?
Correct. And for your information, the Black Knight does not exist in this world.
Where is it then?
It is located outside of our world, where we cannot perceive. I have arbitrarily given its location the name Load-Free Region.
Load-Free?
We've established that the world is simulated, right? Even for a QCDC, a simulation of this scale would be pretty hard to run.
Precisely, that was why Momo and Kit were planning to increase the load and force the simulation to reset.
To minimize the load, the QCDC optimizes the simulation. Specifically, it omits every place that is not being observed until someone actually sees it. It omits outer space. And it omits the inside of the planet too, like its core and mantle. It even omits the area, right behind you.
What?
You won't notice it if you turn around. The omission would end the moment you turn. Even if you see what was being omitted, your brain might not register it. I mean, even the missing square puzzle is enough to fool it.
The missing what puzzle?
Let's take a square with 21 centimeter sides and split it up like this. Now, if we take the same pieces and make a rectangle like this, its area increases by 1.
Huh?
I tilted my head and used my BMI to calculate it. 21 by 21 equals 441. 13 by 34 equals 442. It actually increased by 1.
What the hell? What happened there?
Interesting, isn't it? This is actually just an optical illusion. The parts don't actually make a rectangle.
Damn.
It sure fooled me.
Even the brain's misinterpretations can affect reality. You can't be sure that everything you see is real. Wouldn't you say that notion is especially true in a digital world?
Well, I guess. But is the omission necessary? The Guy QCDC can display the entire Earth, right?
It can, but Why display something that nobody's looking at? It would only invite freezing and errors, and lower the equipment's lifespan. Our world is like an old computer game. If game devs wanted to show large worlds in high res using limited tech, they had to channel detail to wherever the player could see, by siphoning it from areas they couldn't. If you turned around, the scenery you saw would be generated in detail, while wherever you were looking before would be omitted. It's pretty sensible from an economical stand-in.
So, we're talking about a place you can't normally see.
Tesla succeeded in creating the key to the universe, but he was unable to reach the load-free region. Consequently, he had to abandon his endeavor to establish contact with the Black Knight.
He couldn't find the means to get to the load-free region?
It was less about the means, and more about him not meeting a certain condition. And the same can be said of myself.
What's the condition?
To be observed by the Black Knight in real time.
Huh? Then...
Indeed. Things are in your favor.
Awesome.
And as for the means to reach the load-free region, Tesla's words contained a hint.
And this is where you need a math nerd like me. I thought about the meaning behind the numbers 3, 6, and 9, and this is the conclusion I came to. Numbers 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8 normally keep the dimensions within and maintain a harmony. But under certain special conditions, there can be a perfect harmony that causes an endless loop. This loop contains the numbers 3 and 6, and within it, energy moves back and forth between those points. When the energy created by this movement reaches 9, we have an energy conversion.
And what does that mean?
This is what's called vortex math. And what's generated here is perpetual motion, free energy.
Perpetual motion machine, a device that can continue to move without receiving any energy from an outside source.
No and I are using this as a base to create a free energy transformer that doesn't generate heat. Such a device would require greater processing speed with every loop, but would theoretically generate infinitely high frequency and voltage. Using math to unravel quantum mechanics reveals a perfect harmony. In a physical world, perfect harmony like this is impossible. Even though this idea is theoretically correct, environmental factors and such prevent it from being proven. It was just one of those things. But now that we know our world is digital, such restrictions no longer apply. This free energy transformer, the vortex coil, should work.
With it, we will create a temporary distortion in the world. It will last for a mere fraction of a second. But during that brief moment, a small rift will be created in the world within your field of view. You should be able to see the load-free region then.
A vortex coil, was it? What's the difference between Momo's plan and using your coil to create a glitch in the world?
The glitch will only last a moment. It won't overload the world, and however many glitches occur, the world will stay intact. But it's possible that
Stream
in that
elements.
moment, you'll arrive at a future that not even
Stay
Laplace's
moist, my
demon
friends,
could predict.
hydrate.
Laplace's demon, a transcendental entity proposed by mathematician Pierre-Simon Laplace. The idea is that if something were to exist, like the demon, that knew the precise location and momentum of all matter at one singular moment, it would be able to flawlessly predict the future. So that was how it was. Anyway, I had my method now. Hey, Anon, it's thanks to you that I've made it this far, and it's 'cause of you that we might save Momo. So, see this through to the end with me, would you? The Sagrada Familia. It was my first time here. I was in the underground chapel with Miss Lid and Nono. It was completely empty except for us. Our plan was already in motion. The place was guarded by the Holy Office agents and other followers, but Kent isolated them all in VR spaces and instantly neutralized them.
Oz, how's progress on the Gaudi code?
All good. We'll have it decoded in just a few minutes. Not like we're gonna mess up a quiz we have the answers for.
The local media is reporting this live.
Well, ain't that an honor?
I checked the time, and someone called me.
Hold on.
It was Momo. She was at the Vatican.
Gonna start soon?
Yes.
Once Momo opened Necro Pilgrimage's channels, people would be able to connect to her. And for the plan to succeed, she needed about 1 billion people to do just that. To help on that front, I had done as Kent had suggested, and made a statement telling the people of the world to connect. Momo was with Juno, Rosario, Graham, the army, and even Asuma. There were still some Holy Office agents around, but with Felino gone, they weren't worth worrying about.
Don't worry, you're gonna save the world.
Hold on.
Yeah? Momo?
Oh, I just thought that it'd be nice if we could see each other again. But since I will disappear, that can't happen, can it? But if you're going to put me in the world that comes after the reset, well, when that happens, could you please say hi to me?
You know, I won't remember anything either.
I guess that's true. Anyway, I'm going.
We had already copied Momo's data. The problem was that that data was from a week ago. It wouldn't contain her memories from today. The Momo who had resolved to break into the Vatican and sacrifice herself for the sake of the world would be gone. Hell, the Momo from before the load, the one I met first. She was gone too. I couldn't preserve her. I had failed. Still, I was going to save the person I knew as Momo. I wouldn't let anything happen to her. I nodded. It was time to check in on Oz again. I unmuted the news.
Almost half an hour has passed since Polon Takaoka and a person we believe to be Cicada 3301 entered the Sagrada Familia. Look, the Gaudi Code was considered one of the key symbols of the Sagrada Familia, but 15 minutes ago, it vanished. Was this the work of Polon Takaoka? He is the center of global attention this very moment, and has promised us to deliver the world from the end approaching in just a few hours. In a world that has denied God, he is the Messiah and the hope of mankind. Let's watch closely for further update. Oh, the Gaudi Code is changed again. Huh? What is this?
And it's done.
In the underground chapel, the floor beside the altar moved with an imposing sound. It opened up to reveal a secret staircase leading even further down.
Nice job, Oz.
Without a sound, Kent appeared next to me.
Begin.
Finally!
Tension, tension, fourth dimension!
Miss Lid was holding a weird donut-shaped object. That was the Vortex Coil, the device that would lead me out of the load region. Though it wasn't much of a device, just a coil woven into an odd shape. It was packed full of dozens of meters of copper wire and nothing else. According to Kent, there was probably no need to bring it along. He said the effect should be the same no matter where it was used. But I figured that if something went wrong, it would be easier to fix if we had the thing on hand, so I got Liddy and Nono to come with us.
Let's do this!
Oz had been solving the Gaudi Code in another room, so we waited for him to catch up before moving on. Now the gaudy seal on it had been decoded, it was time to get our hands on Tesla's so-called key to the universe. The stairs led to a giant underground space, and at the far end was a painting on the wall showing
the Arecibo message.
Arecibo message, a message sent to space in 1974 to celebrate the completion of the Arecibo radio telescope in the USA's Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. It was aimed at the M13 globular cluster in the constellation of Hercules, about 25,000 light-years away. The message is made of 1,679 binary bits. The number 1,679 was chosen because it is a semi-prime, a product of two prime numbers, in this case 23 and 73. It was expected that the decoder would rearrange the bits rectangularly in a 2D space as 73 rows and 23 columns, creating a coherent image. The image is a depiction of the origins of mankind.
Wasn't that from the 70s? The timeline doesn't make sense. When was this mural made?
I assume that this is the original.
Each block was given a color, and together they formed a mural.
It's like pixel art.
For a moment, I thought I was looking at the Game of Life.
Oh yeah! It looks just like it!
Momo had played it a few times on the device Nano had given her.
Hey, is it just me, or is that one shining?
Miss Lid was pointing at a part of the mural that depicted a human. Right in the middle, the heart area, there was one block that was shining. That was it. That was the key to the universe. We all looked at each other, and I took a step toward the mural. And I looked closely at the block, trying to figure out what was making it shine, but I couldn't make sense of it. It was the chest area, the place where the heart resided, or perhaps where the soul lived. I gulped, then climbed up the mural. I reached up and touched the block.
The mural. It really is a Game of Life.
The mural began to collapse. In just a moment, it was reduced to nothing but a blocky remnant of the picture. But the shining block I had touched had sunk further into the wall. I could see deeper inside. There, I saw it. A sphere about the size of a softball, shining with all the colors of the rainbow. The block must have been shining because the light coming off of this thing was passing through it.
So this is the key to the universe.
I climbed up the wall again and reached nervously for the orb. It was slightly warm. It didn't feel too heavy in my hand. But now I had what I needed. There was just one thing left to do.
Miss Lid, no. Turn on the vortex coil.
Okay!
Nono connected the vortex coil to some electrodes and a transformer.
Hold on. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Send my regards to the Observer.
Will do.
No! Maximum voltage!
Impact!
Nono pressed a switch on the transformer. A moment later, the world was distorted. The world shifted. As well as all the things I could already see, I could now also see the part that had been impossible to perceive. The load-free region. Everyone else here, Kent, Oz, Miss Lid, and Nano, had stopped moving completely. I tried bringing up the news on my BMI, but couldn't. The world had frozen. The only things moving were me and the shining orb in my hand. I had finally made it here. Taking a deep breath, I stepped beyond the load region. I held up my key to the universe. I didn't know how to use it. It just kind of felt like that was the right thing to do.
Now, come on out already! Black Knight!
The orb began to shine brighter, and a path of light shot out of it.
Yo. We finally got to meet, Anon. I see you nice and clear from my side right now. Man, hacking into the Black Knight really worked. I'm communicating with the dimension you're in. So, since you've been observing me, you know what I want to do, yeah? I'm gonna temporarily store Momo's data inside the Black Knight. After that, there's something I gotta ask you to do for me. When the world line collapse happens, and the world layers are reset, I need you to upload Momo's data to that world. It's a one-step process. Entering a command to install Momo's data to the world. You've observed me all this time, so I'm sure you'll figure out the command right away. It symbolizes who Momo is, and... oh shit, check this out. The world's trying to return to normal. Guess our little chat's coming to a close. I finally got to keep my promise to Momo. Once the world line collapse hits, I'll lose my memories of the future. No more hacks with saving and loading either. Hell, I'll forget everything. But to be honest, I'm cool with that. Not knowing what the future holds is a total blessing. That's my conclusion. Alright, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm glad I got you as my observer.
The sounds, the world itself, everything came back. In my hand, the shining light of the key to the universe faded to
I'm
nothing.
counting on you, Anon.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Cross, I'm at the place.
You're right on time. The client's gonna meet you at 12.
What's the client like, anyway?
A young girl. Don't be shaking in your boots now. It's not like I'm telling you to elope with her.
Ugh, bro, you're still gonna make fun of me for that shit?
Sorry. I just remembered your face when that lie of yours fell apart, and I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I don't have anyone like that. And bro, I dropped to my knees and apologized on the spot, didn't I? Cut me some slack. Anyways, back to the job. What does a young girl want with us hackers? Ain't it weird?
Beats me. She said she'll tell you in person.
That just makes it even weirder.
Well, whatever. Guess I would just stay here and wait for the client. Cross had sent her my face and name so she could call out to me herself.
The midsummer sun smiles and beams at the cheer invited by the southern wind.
I noticed a girl mumbling something nearby. What was that? A poem? The Sun Plaza was pretty crowded, but she didn't mind. She just kept reciting her poem. She even had her eyes closed, like she was praying.
A wondrous magic will soon show its gleams, the omen of tears and joy undimmed. With courageous heart, we journey ahead, past leaves of red and petals of blue. Peaches and honey abound where we tread, to a world that's waiting, hopeful and new.
I didn't know much about poetry, but
That's a nice poem.
Huh?
our eyes met. Normally, I would never be able to chat up a girl like that. But for some reason, that line just came out naturally.
Oh, isn't it? Thank you.
Who wrote it?
It's...
Suddenly, a tear trickled to trickle down her cheek.
It's a poem I made. With someone special to me. Someone only I know.
Well, why was she crying? Had I said something wrong? What was I supposed to do? Man, girls really were too much for me.
Cross, help me out. How do I get through this?
The girl wiped her tears away and walked up to me. Her eyes were still red, but she did her best to smile.
You're Polon, right?
Yeah, I am. Oh, are you the client?
Yes. My name is... Momo Aizaki.
I see. You could have said so right away.
I wasn't going to ask why she had started crying. I didn't want to make things weird. Anyway, I pulled myself together and...
Thanks for the job offer. So, what's the problem? Whatever it is, you don't have to worry about it anymore. After all, us Nakano Symphonies are...
A team of Anons with bright futures, who can't sit idly by when someone's in need.
Huh? How do you know that?
How indeed. So, Polon, my request to you is...
And that is Perfectionist achieved all there is to do in anonymous code. 12.7%, so not quite a rare achievement, but pretty close. I greatly enjoyed that game. That was pretty cool. So give us a moment to go BRB and grab some water, grab some snacks, and we'll dive into our next story.